Let's talk about a number, a single, staggering number that tells the story of a cyber attack so massive it sent shockwaves through an entire national economy. But here's the thing, the story behind it, it's probably not what you're thinking.
There it is, 1.9 billion pounds. I mean, that's a huge number, right? But it's more than that. According to the UK's own Cyber Monitoring Centre, this represents the single most economically damaging cyber event in the country's entire history. Ever.
So, when you hear a number like that, what comes to mind? Probably a massive data breach, right? Millions of stolen credit cards or customer records. But nope, that's not what happened here. This cost wasn't about stealing data. It was about something way, way more disruptive.
And what's really wild is how it all went down. This massive national-level crisis, this billion-pound disaster, it didn't kick off like you'd expect, with some virus spreading everywhere. No. It all started with an attack on just one company.
So, who was that one company? Well, ground zero for this whole thing was none other than Jaguar Land Rover. Let's really dig into how this one attack brought a giant of UK manufacturing to its knees.
Okay, so back in late August of 2025, JLR gets hit with what they called a major cyber incident. Now, this wasn't some IT headache. This was a full-blown lights-out crisis. It triggered a complete shutdown of their global manufacturing operations. We're talking for weeks. The production lines just stopped. Silent.
And we don't even have to guess how much this cost them directly. It's right here, plain as day, in JLR's own financial report. You can see it right there, a little line item for cyber-related costs. A direct hit of £196 million. And get this, that was just the initial bill to clean up the mess. But the real damage? It wasn't just the cleanup cost. It was the total operational paralysis. With the factories dead in the water, their revenue for the quarter just fell off a cliff, down a staggering 24% from the year before.
It's pretty simple, right? When you're not making cars and you're not selling cars, you are just burning through cash like there's no tomorrow. The result for that quarter? A negative free cash flow of £791 million. That is an absolutely brutal hit to the company's cash reserves.
And this is the why behind all that financial pain. Just look at this chart. It's a cliff-edge drop in the number of cars they were able to produce. They went from over 87,000 units all the way down to just 66,000. Every single one of those missing cars is revenue that just vanished into thin air.
Okay, but the story gets even digger. It doesn't just end with JLR's financials. This one breach sent an economic shockwave, a ripple effect that was felt all across the country.
The Cyber Monitoring Center actually gave this a formal name, a Category 3 systemic event. Now that's a fancy way of saying it was a certified national-level crisis. The definition is pretty clear, a financial loss in the billions and a major impact on thousands of different UK businesses.
So, just how many businesses are we talking about? Well, their models estimate that over 5,000 UK organizations were impacted by the JLR shutdown. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. One company goes down and 5,000 others feel the pain.
And here's a really crucial point. This wasn't like the WannaCry attacks you might remember, where a piece of malware just spreads like a virus from computer to computer. This was what they call a concentrated failure. The attack hit one place, and the damage spread not through a virus, but through the deeply interconnected web of our modern supply chains.
You know, all these numbers can feel a bit abstract, but this quote from the official report, it really brings it home. It humanizes it. Because when JLR stopped making cars, guess what? Their suppliers stopped getting paid. This wasn't just some corporate problem on a spreadsheet. We're talking about severe cash flow problems for smaller businesses, to the point where owners were reported to be taking out personal loans just to keep their businesses from going under.
So all of this brings us to the most important question, right? What do we do with this information? What can we all learn from this? Let's break down the critical takeaways for every single business out there, whether you're big or small.
The Cyber Monitoring Center actually laid out 4 really clear steps. First up, you have to recognize that the biggest risk you face today isn't data theft, it's operational disruption. Second, you've got to strengthen your recovery plans for both your IT and, crucially, your OT. That's the operational technology, the stuff that runs your actual physical machinery. Third, you need to map out your entire supply chain to figure out where your weak spots are. And finally, go check your cyber insurance policy and see if it actually covers you for this kind of operational mess.
Look, if you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. The whole game has changed. The world of cyber risk has fundamentally shifted.
For years and years, we were all obsessed with protecting data. But what the JLR incident proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is that the most expensive threat today is being completely paralyzed.
It really just boils down to one simple, powerful idea. Downtime is way more expensive than defense. It's as simple as that.
You know, the JLR attack was a brutal wake-up call for everyone. It just shows you how fragile our interconnected economy really is. So, after watching the UK's costliest cyber attack ever unfold from just a single point of failure, the real question we have to ask ourselves isn't if this is going to happen again, it's who is it going to happen to next.